So thank you for joining us. My name is Archit. I'm from RFID for you, and I've got Rod on the line. Rod, do you mind giving an introduction about yourself and a little bit more about CSL and some of the RFID solutions CSL provides?
Yeah, thank you. I've been in this industry forever. Pre Wi-Fi, went through all the standardization of 802.11, followed that into wide area wireless, and then ultimately followed the RFID in 2003, and ended up in the RTLS space for quite a few years.
Hmm.
And then in 2016, CSL was getting ready to relaunch products back into the United States, and I started actually by being the tester of the CS108 as they were going through product development, and just followed things since. And now we kind of have a full line from fixed readers to handhelds.
Yeah, so maybe we can start off over there. Tell us a little bit more about the CS108. It's a handheld. I see it behind you. You mind bringing that up and telling us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so the CS108 has been around for almost 4 years now, and if you don't mind me bragging, it's becoming the benchmark of the industry for handheld scanning.
Hmm.
And it's a basic sled, uses an actual BLE connection, not a Bluetooth peripheral connection, which does a few things for you. It gives you better battery life and much more throughput.
Hmm.
And if you're familiar with CSL, it has the same ceramic antenna that the CS101 had, which gives us the best read performance in the handheld business.
Yep, and you
Yeah.
definitely can see that. I see you have the device over there. I think one of the coolest things I like about the CS108 is the built-in mount. I think that's a pretty unique feature, and
Yeah.
you can just slap a device on there, and there's some other options for some wider and some taller ones. I think that's a pretty cool feature that sets it apart from some of the other devices in the marketplace.
Yeah, we have a wide mount, we have a tall mount if you have commercial devices, and
Hmm.
it will take up to a 7-inch iPad. We have
Yep.
on the spread here. Comes with 2D or without 2D the imaging as well. I should have pointed that out. So
That RFID and barcode go hand in hand, right? There a lot of applications, a lot of use cases that are used right in conjunction.
there's almost always a barcode right on top of that RFID label.
Yep.
So
So, can you tell us a little bit more about this new Cradle? What does it kind of bring to the table? Historically, we've been able to charge the device using the USB-C cable. There's been some accessories for some external battery chargers. Can you tell us a little bit about this new dock?
yeah, we came out with a single slot cradle. After listening to lots of people, we put a 3 amp USB port on the front so that you can
Hmm.
charge whatever kind of device you're going to use with the 108.
Sure.
Um, it's single cradle. It's kind of gotten off to not a lot of fanfare because of COVID this year, but it's been out for about a year, and it's been a great addition to lots of use cases for the CS108.
I definitely think so. We've got customers, and even myself included. It's very easy just to slap it down right over there, and that way you don't have to worry about charging. As soon as you're done using the device, you pop it on, and when you're ready to go back up and start scanning, you just pick it up and continue where you left off. So I
Right.
think it's definitely pretty cool. And just on the CS108 itself, we talked about the BLE. We definitely see that as a huge plus. It's not only, I think, some of the savings and from the battery perspective, but also from a communication perspective, right? We've seen it being a little bit easier for users as well, where they don't have to go in and be able to go into iOS or Android settings to pair. Just one less step for a lot of the users, just to simplify some of those steps and just simplify that communication.
Yeah, it gives people like yourself control in the software over what devices are available
Hmm.
and paired. And the other thing it really does is it leaves that Bluetooth peripheral connection open for headsets, speakers,
Yep.
printers.
Yep.
So it really helps expand the breadth of use cases.
Definitely. So what else is happening at CSL? Anything else that's on the horizon? Anything else that's new you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, well, actually, I will just briefly touch on the 776 and the 463.
Okay.
Um, this is the 463 is, as you know, and probably all your listeners know, is about a year and a half old now. It's our 4-port reader. What
Mm-hmm.
makes it different is that it is a full Linux server that happens to have an RFID reader in it.
Okay.
It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and host USB connections.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do everything you need to do on the enterprise as for code management, security, all
Mm-hmm.
those things you do to get your other devices on your enterprise, you can now
Sure.
do on your RFID readers, and they don't have to be a separate system.
Okay.
And then on top of that, it's kind of slow to roll industry wise, but we have also put the NXP, is it ACH 71, 871CH, I think is the official security chip that works with AWS Hub, Azure Hub on
Okay.
the IoT side of things. So this really is the first enterprise 4-port reader out in the marketplace. Just because you can do all your enterprise things. And then we released the 776 thin antenna, which has great performance and is the big value point in the marketplace there as well. So that's kind of what's going on the fixed reader side. And then the latest thing that is just being introduced, and you actually get the first press and exclusive introduction here. This
Cool.
is the 203X. It
Yep.
is an completely sealed IP68, fixed reader. It's
Mm-hmm.
really just on the inside, it's the 463 with the 776 mounted on the top.
Mm-hmm.
It has extended temperature ranges. It does the -4F to plus 50, or at -20C to plus 50C. And I have to
Okay.
cheat here. The -4F to the plus 122.
We're not going to hold you to that, Ryan. Don't worry.
No, I printed it out here because I knew I'd botch that part.
No,
But
but
the other big thing, if you're familiar with our old 203, is it was just a single unit. This actually has an auxiliary antenna port,
Mhm.
which was something that people have been asking for a long time. So
Sure. And
it has all the standard features and is sealed in the IP68 case.
sure. So what are some of the applications you're thinking about for, from a rugged perspective? I definitely think, applications where we've got RFID readers outside, maybe on gates, maybe a big use case, maybe in an industrial, some industrial applications. What do you guys have in mind for where this new device can be used?
Yeah, well, right now, the big use cases are car washes
Mm-hmm.
and cattle.
Okay.
You've probably seen this. There's a lot going on in the cattle industry right now.
Yep.
So being able to mount it out on feed areas or chutes for loading chutes
Mm-hmm.
um, are kind of the two first big use cases. Like I said, this is it. This is the initial launch of telling the world about it,
Yeah.
and so we'll just start with a marketing campaign here in the next few weeks, and I'm sure it'll find lots of use cases. Previously, the 203 was used in construction a lot,
Yep.
but right now I've been focused on a lot of cattle
Yep.
and my car wash customers that we carried over from the 203.
No, I think there's definitely a lot of use cases when it comes to industrial RFID. We've definitely seen a big need for IP68 whenever you have, outdoor access control. If you've got, product coming in outdoors on the back of a truck, and you want to be able to identify, what that truck is as it's going through an access control perspective. A lot of applications we've seen where people may want to have IP68 is in heavy duty industrial environments where they want, although they've got control in their four walls, they want to make sure that it's extra tough just to make sure that nothing's going to get inside. So yeah, definitely. Definitely, I think it's going to have a lot of more and more use cases, just like with other RFID technologies we've seen. There's applications out there that people think about that we never even imagined it being used for. So yeah, pretty interesting, pretty cool device. Do you mind bringing that up one more time and kind of explaining to us some of the ports that you got on there?
Yeah. So everything has to be sealed, which gives it non-standard connectors.
Yep.
It has a debug 232 port. I'll get that out of
Okay.
the way first for development.
Sure.
And this is standard 15-pin GPIO.
Okay. So excellent. So you can have accessories on there for for giving light stacks, buzzers, horns, all that good stuff.
Right. You can do all your standard GPIO stuff. This is for the external antenna, right?
Okay.
So you can have two antennas, and then an Ethernet port, and then of course power,
Hmm.
and then of course you got a couple of lights, so you kind of know what's going on, and then there are some additional lights over here for Ethernet, various activity, status.
Yep.
So mount has standard Visa mounts in the back, plus these four stud mounts, and it's a tank. It really
Yep.
is.
I'm sure that you can drop it and it's gonna be pretty good. We're not gonna ask you to test that over here for us, but it looks solid.
It'll make a dent in my floor, I guarantee.
Excellent. So no, it's really cool. I think applications where we're seeing more need for protection, more need for these IP67, IP68 readers are really coming out, and with the growth of RFID, I think it's going to find a really good position out in the marketplace. Now, is there any other things that you're seeing? I know right now it's a very interesting time for RFID because RFID is a technology where we have a lot of automation, and I definitely think as an individual, companies and enterprises are going to take advantage of this time to really shift towards automation as things start cleaning up and opening up. Do you see any other trends that you'd like to share with anyone who might be watching, whether that be use cases, whether that be applications where you see, some good traction for RFID?
Well, I have more development work going on right now, during this COVID time period than all the previous time.
Hmm.
Some of that's growth, but a lot of that is people are really doing what you said. They are getting ready to come out of this into a whole new paradigm. And
Yep.
you combine that with the cloud and what's going on with the cloud. Um,
Hmm.
the three pieces we have here make a very cohesive family of products to feed information to the cloud. One of the things I didn't talk about, but in this vein is worth mentioning, you can use the same application you write for the handheld to actually attach to the fixed reader, the 463.
Yep.
And that's turning up in some interesting use cases, like janitorial and cleaning, right?
Okay.
If you have a COVID cleaning cart, they all have readers on them so that you can document and prove where you went.
Hmm.
But the janitor can just pick a cart, right?
Yep.
And it's attached to it just like they would a handheld. So it's little things like that
Okay.
that are really changing things. And then on the backside, it's feeding data to the
Hmm.
cloud as fast and cleanly as possible. In the 463, we also have the event engine,
Yep.
which is literally a click and point configuration of read tags, filter it this way, send it to
Mhm.
this server,
Okay. Yep.
and it's just between that and MQTT connections. People are doing all kinds of things that all the cool kids like you do, all you young guys do.
Yeah. Well, I think once you make it easy to collect the data, it's what you can do with the data that's really, what's really coming big right now. It's RFID collects a lot of data. We can manage what data we want to collect with it using some of the tools that you described. But after that, I think it's limitless, right? It's what you really can do with that data. regardless of the application, regardless of the industry, once you start aggregating it and filtering it and massaging it, it's, sky's the limit when it comes to, taking advantage of it. So I definitely agree with you on that. And I think from an overall perspective, right, I think you're right. When we're going to start clearing out of this out of this pandemic, I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of new applications that are out there, just because not only from a safety perspective, but also how to further optimize business processes when it comes to RFID, because of some of the things that we've seen over the last few months, making sure that supply chains are as optimized as possible. We've got making sure the products are where they need to be from a safety perspective, from a need perspective. So I definitely think RFID is gonna uh, definitely going to have some new applications that are kind of coming out after all this kind of starts opening up.
The one thing I probably should mention too, that actually is pure COVID applications,
Mm-hmm.
is we spent a lot of engineering dollars, time, and money making the CS108 be the sled that reads sensor tags.
Yep.
And there's just an unbelievable amount happening in the COVID vaccine marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
and particularly in the cold chain of distribution, now that a lot of product is moving to supermarkets instead of restaurants.
Sure.
And so being able to read all of those sensor tags for temperature, humidity is key to that application.
Yep.
And that's another place that the CS108 really shines.
Yeah, I think so too, right? RFID serves as a really strong data collection mean for some of those sensors. Temperature and humidity sensors have been around for decades, but RFID helps us streamline that, right? We can quickly identify, is a product too hot, too cold? Is a product, having too much moisture, too much humidity for the life cycle of it? And RFID helps you collect it right as soon as it, comes into a premise, and get those alerts right away, as opposed to having to go and check every single sensor.
Right.
Cool. Excellent. Anything else you'd like to add on?
No, I think that's about it. One of the things that I didn't say earlier is CSL only sells to retailers and system integrators like yourself.
Mhm.
We don't deal directly with the end users, so we're always appreciative of the work you guys do and the customers that you bring us.
Sure, and really appreciate that. All the CSL products are listed on our website, rfidforyoustore.com, and I'm sure the new product will be on there as soon as we're ready to go live with this one. So excited to see some of the new product development that's been happening at CSL, and I'm sure, as you guys do, there's going to be a lot more in the next coming months and years with some innovative stuff. And really appreciate you taking the time to do this with us today.
And likewise, thank you for the
All right,
opportunity.
thanks.